Hello lovely. So for any of you that don't know me, my name's Lanna and I'm a crystal healer. Da, da, da. So I know the word healer seems a bit strange. Basically, I work with crystals and their energy to boost your energy system. That's what I do. So when I first started, I was really intrigued by crystals because at the time that I trained as a crystal healer, I was in a job that I just really hated. There was nothing particularly wrong with the job. I just didn't like the environment. And for me, I didn't really know why. I sort of was questioning it, and at the time I did question myself a lot. This has been a journey for me as well. I've learned an awful lot about myself, which is how then I feel like I can share so much information with you because I know what really worked, what were the issues for me, and how I've started to manage my life so much better. But this video, I just kind of wanted to give you a bit of an overview of like, who am I? Because you see Love Happens to Me, that's my business, that's my baby, and you see me post on there, and I just wanted to give you the person behind it and sort of understand where I'm coming from, because I tend to find that if you're intrigued by the work that I do and are following me, clients that come forward often have had a very similar story to me throughout their life. So I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet so you don't start snoring, but you know, everyone else's stories are more interesting than the person saying it thinks they are, right? So for me, I'd always bought crystals, you know, from a kid. You'd go somewhere, they look lovely, they're like, oh, they're lovely, I'm going to have that, and that. And had a few, not masses, a few, and just never did anything with them. I didn't know what you were meant to do. I just thought they looked pretty. And when you're in the shop and you think, oh yeah, that's so and so, and it says it's good for blah. And then by the time you got home, you've forgotten what it's called and what it's supposed to do. But they're still pretty, so it's great. So I had a few crystals over the years as a kid. And then what year are we? 2019. So about 5 years ago, I was working in a job, and it was kind of I'd come out of uni, and when I finished uni, my undergrad, I studied anthropology. So people, human nature, human customs, traditions. I love it. I love it. I still love it now, you know, and I really enjoyed my time studying. And I came out of uni and I was a bit like, now what am I going to do? Because I've really enjoyed this course, but actually, what am I going to do now? And that kind of sent me into meltdown mode. And then I really suffered with crippling anxiety for like the next 3-4 years. It really took hold. It built gradually. I didn't realise what it was until a little while later. And that is a whole sort of story in itself, really. Something I'd have to go back and really unpack. But basically, the end of the uni then sort of sent into catalyst this anxiety that then came out. And I think what had happened was I'd already always had anxiety, but had managed it by focusing it on my studies. So I would focus on the next assignment or whatever that was due. And that anxious nature I had would really actually make me quite effective and productive when it came to studying, which was lucky because nowadays I can go either way. It can make me really effective or not at all. But thankfully, my anxiety is nothing like it used to be, because it got to the point where I wasn't leaving the house. I was that anxious. I just didn't want to go out. I didn't want to interact with people. I felt like I'd have to be fake. And for me, throughout my life, I've always wanted to be real and genuine and be myself and kind of fight my corner. So I grew up in a household with a Middle Eastern dad, an English mum, and sort of the clash of the culture in meeting in the middle. We grew up in England, so we had very westernized experience, but a dad that had certain cultural expectations, which I'm sure some of you can appreciate and understand, because there's plenty of us out there that have gone through this. So I kind of always felt I had to fight for being myself. And obviously I'm a little bit different. I'm into crystals. I now have a business that's all about, yes, crystals and crystal therapy, but as well personal development and giving you back your power of being the person that you want to be and knowing how to achieve the things that you want to achieve and get beyond the issues that are stopping you doing anything. That is really my focus for this business. So I've had this like undercurrent of having to sort of like fight my corner and be who I am. But also that made me a bit indecisive and questioning, is this the right thing for me to do? Am I making the right decision? Should I be doing this? You know, I think that expectation on me to be something that I wasn't then left me with those questions. So fast forward a little bit, I've then finished uni. Now I don't know what I'm going to do, and I go into panic mode. The anxiety starts setting in and it grows and it grows. And anyone that's experienced anxiety, it's like when you realise that you have it, and then you can acknowledge that it's coming, it's kind of like you feel like a wave is going to come over you. And I think the trick with it is to actually learn your symptoms and your signals to say it's coming. So do something about it before it takes hold. Because what I ended up feeling like was that the anxiety was this thing that, like a parasite, that came into my body, took over, and I had no control over it. And it just made me feel rubbish. It made me feel useless. It made me feel like, well, what the hell am I doing? I can't control it. How pathetic is this? You know, you get all those self-blame things going on. And I tried lots of things. I went to the doctors. I tried medication. I tried CBT. I tried different counselling techniques. I even part trained as a psychodynamic counsellor to see if that was the realm that was going to be where I needed to be, helping other people. And then during that time, I then got a job just to earn some cash as I was going, and an office job. And the first year of that was cool and it was fun. And the second year, really, I just started to feel like this sounded really dramatic. And my family were like, oh, you're such a drama queen. But I truly felt like my soul was dying. And I know it's to say even out loud sounds a bit like, oh, okay, yeah, all right then. But it did. I felt like I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But I didn't know what I wanted to be doing. So all of this fed into the anxiety. So I had this massive anxiety attack after I finished uni, which went on for a few years. I managed to try different things, figure out what did and didn't work. And then I got fed up of all this medical stuff. And I started looking for natural alternatives. So I went very natural. I went all my products natural. I was very conscious about what I was consuming. And I also then started Googling natural alternatives to anxiety. And crystals came up as an option. So for me then, I then bought my one and only crystal actually online, which was an amethyst. This is a piece of amethyst. It wasn't this particular piece. It's just an example for you guys. It was an amethyst necklace, which I wore religiously for 2 years, every day. After a couple of months, I didn't really need it, but I hadn't realised what was happening, what was going on. So I just carried on wearing it and it became sort of a safety thing for me. And I really saw a difference in myself during the process of working with the amethyst. And so then didn't really think anything of it. I was doing counselling training at the time. I was in this job and kind of was like, oh, you know what, that crystal really worked for me. That was great. Really enjoyed that. Carried on buying crystals. Didn't really do much more about it. Fast forward another few years and I'm now in this job and hating it, feeling like my soul is just dying. And I know this is really dramatic, but I know some of you will connect with that feeling because it's like you feel a bit silly saying it, but that is what it feels like. It feels like you're really not doing what you're meant to be doing, but you have no clue what you're meant to be doing either, sometimes. So I then came across a crystal healing course that was running this particular weekend that was coming up. There was one space left. Okay, great, I'm on it. And I really just did it for myself. I really did it because I was interested in crystals and I wanted to do something that I would enjoy, that would take my mind off feeling crap and not knowing what I should be doing. So I did it. And really then it's snowballed since then. So that was 2015, I think. So we're talking 4 years ago now. So I trained as a crystal healer, worked as a crystal healer for a while. And then I was getting lots and lots of questions and requests for workshops. So people saying to me, Lanna, I've got loads of crystals. I have no idea what to do with them. Please put a workshop together. Just tell me what to do with them. So then my crystal discovery workshop was born. That still runs. You can still check out on my Facebook page and my website the latest dates for that. I run that in Watford in Hertfordshire. I've also then developed an online version of that because I know a lot of my clients are a lot further afield. So if you've got any questions about that, just ding me an email, no problem. So I really started developing this workshop and then I got really excited because I was like, actually, there's a lot we could do here. This is one workshop, but there's so much to explore. So then I then developed, I think we've got 10 workshops now, all about personal development. It's all about focusing in on yourself, and they have different themes. So there's one on intuition, one with working with crystals with yourself, one with releasing the boundaries and the baggage that you're carrying from the past. You know, there's all slightly different things. One on making crystal manifesting grids, one on using pendulums. And there's always new ones in the pipeline because I do love running workshops, because for me, I love seeing my client's face when they feel it. So I'm talking someone that comes to an introduction workshop, they have no idea about crystals, or they know a little bit, but they haven't really experienced them. I'll get you to feel them, we'll talk about them. You can tell I get really excited about crystals, so typically I will go off on a tangent, but it will still be crystal related, usually. And then we'll do an exercise, and it's usually at that moment, 9 out of 10 people will experience it. Not everyone will, because you're in a group environment, people you don't know. So it's not necessarily an instant thing. Sometimes working with crystals is a gradual thing, but we'll get onto that anyway. But I love that moment of that pure joy, excitement, amazement, like, whoa, that goes across people's faces. That is why I do this job. I love that, because I know in that moment I'm giving that person some power back, that they feel like, you know what, actually there's something in this, I can use this to my benefit. And then we've started the journey. So I really just wanted to give you a sort of a brief overview of who I am, why I do this, why I love this, what my story is. I'd really like to hear where you guys are at. You know, have you used crystals? Are you new to crystals? Are you a crystal like expert? Do you love them? Are you curious about them? Are you a bit skeptical about them? Any questions you've got, comment underneath the video, send me an email, anything you want to do, get in contact, let me know, and I will speak to you guys soon.